Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month. Full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
Recording has started.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another week of the the Daredevil Podcast with me, Phil, Lilith, and special guest Gregory Wright. The dude is back. This time we're going to talk Daredevil Born Again episode 4 that just aired moments ago. Law and Order Marvel Universe, because still no devil suit.
We got a glimpse of the headpiece.
I know
Arsenal.
He's stocking up on costumes. Remember the Netflix series? I think he was lucky to have one suit. Now all of a sudden he's got like a whole closet of them.
Hey man, big firm has big advantages, you know.
All right, so got more mayor stuff, more lawyer stuff, and hey, the Punisher's back. Well, hiding in his basement. Yes. So Greg, tell us. I mean, we never heard your thoughts on episode 3, and now we're at 4. What's your thoughts? What's your feelings?
I wish it was moving a little faster, but that's Matt Murdock is as much of what it's about, if not more, than the guy in the costume, because we're getting a lot of it's like this slow burn, especially with him and Fisk, the comparison of the two. There, you're waiting for both of them to be who we're waiting for. But yeah, episode 3, that was a really good, but like you said, it's a really good Law and Order episode. And it was funny, I was talking to Dan Chichester earlier, and he had said that he had read somebody else that was talking, and they said, geez, they really missed an opportunity on episode 3 with all the people, talking about what the White Tiger did.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they show it? And I thought, yes, that was a really great idea. It's like, I guess it was like some 18-year-old girl's comment. It's like, none of the rest of us thought about that, but it's like, yeah, they could have, while they were talking, they could have shown what the White Tiger was doing. We could have got a little more action into that episode. But I don't know if that would have, it's supposed to be Daredevil. It's not, the White Tiger. But the ending, I did not see that coming. It kind of should have seen that coming with the fanboy Punisher tattoo. So I liked that they immediately dealt with that as soon as we got the scene with Matt and Frank. When he shows the bullet, and he's like, fanboys, and it's like, what's, now I'm like, well, what's his deal? Why is he hiding out in his basement? Why isn't he, doing anything? So I was, so like the ending of this episode where, Matt's got his little Daredevil cave, I'm like, okay, he's not quite so retired as we think he is. And like, then I'm thinking, where did he get the new helmets from?
3D printers, baby.
Yeah.
Same place Dan Chichester.
3D printer will make a helmet that will withstand much of a punch. But that was kind of cool. But it's funny because I was thinking of Dan's his black armor, where he's using the name is the guy, the Fixer. Is that who it was that he was using to fix his suit? And I'm wondering if we're going to get to see something like that here, where Daredevil's got this guy that maybe there's a guy in this particular version of the universe that makes this stuff for people. And I can't remember who was making him suits in the Netflix series.
Melvin Potter.
Yeah, so it is that guy.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the same thing, because I think it's interesting because he's still playing with that horn,
Mhm.
and it's not like a little. I mean, it seems like it's a metal horn, so it's like it's a metal helmet that he's got on. So yeah, seeing all the helmets was kind of like, I'm like, ooh, what's going on, here? But it's like, it's funny. I started Homicide: Life on the Street on Peacock, I guess. So kind of stuff is reminding me of like a Law and Order and Homicide mashup in
It's
there.
all
So
in the Dick Wolfiverse.
Yeah, like I'm loving the whole story, but yeah, again, it's moving a little slow. Wanting the map in the costume already, which I mean, it kind of looks like it's going to happen next episode. I think just all the whole foggy thing got to him, but now with what's happened to the White Tiger, and then the guy he was representing in this episode, and
Well, the title says it all, right?
yeah.
Sic Semper Systema, always so the system,
Hmm.
especially in New
and
York and other large cities. It's a grind.
and I don't actually, I'm not familiar with this Muse character that's showing up, so I'm
Relatively
pretty
new
curious.
character,
It's like,
right?
oh, this guy seems like a whack. I'm not quite sure what's happening with him. But it was weird. It's like, who is the guy he's carrying? Where did he get him? I'm guessing he's the kid that showed up. And I think was it either first or second episode? He showed up someplace.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. So I'm
Well, yeah, he's the person that's been doing the graffiti all over the city. So yeah,
He's
shows
basically
up
a
first.
serial killer who thinks he's an artist. Yeah.
So it's definitely keeping my interest, which is good. But I don't necessarily need to see the costume, but I was hoping for another bit of fight from either the Kingpin or from Matt. Like we got with the cops. That was a great scene where when he's talking to with Officer Powell.
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, and then and then I'm waiting. I'm like, where's the payoff? Please give me a payoff.
That was some subtle threats there, like Powell saying he's going to bring in more bringing in his brother cops again, and Matt's like, well, you're going to need way more than you brought last time.
You would think that would almost be like, oh, we know who you are.
Yeah.
Some regular lawyer guy's not going to be able to kick the crap out of 3 cops.
A blind lawyer, yeah.
Yeah, without that being somewhat suspicious.
Mm-hmm. Especially since Daredevil used to cover his eyes completely in his mask. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I was waiting for that. I was waiting for Kingpin to flip out on those kids in that classroom who were singing, because I got on Lilith's nerves. I was waiting for it to get on.
He was
Kingpin.
white knuckling it.
when he went to the next the Latvian thing, and they were singing the same song, I thought that was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
His frustration on not being able to do things the way he wants to do them. I was like, okay, at least they're.
At least you can't go fast and break things in New York. That's a refreshing change.
Yeah, because sometimes you watch movies and they just stuff just happens. Like cars being able to pull up and park right in front of a building. It's like that never happens in a million years.
You'd be lucky if you could double park in New York.
No.
Well, now you got to pay. Currently, you got to pay a little bit more to drive around in the city. So we have this congestion pricing that actually is working. Surprising, it's one of those funny things. It's doing exactly what it is. It's making the city a lot of money, and way less people are driving around. So it actually is working. And I'm like, I'm not driving to the city. I don't want to pay that. I'll just take the train.
One upside to a bad economy, yeah. And then the whole Wilson and Vanessa and couples counseling with Heather, and that was interesting. Vanessa had an affair, and at the end of the episode, we find out where the guy's at.
Poor Adam.
I was more intrigued by his dinner. because all he's been eating is this like omelet and a piece of broccoli.
That's like all he ever eats. He was eating that in the Netflix show. Yeah.
You know, and now he's eating.
He's in his man cave.
He's like, well, it's like I'm going to eat this huge meal in front of the guy that had an affair with my wife. And I started thinking about was it the Two Towers or the Return of the King, where the one king is sitting there gorging himself while he was going to burn his son to death.
Oh.
I kept thinking of that, and I'm like, is that where they're going with this? Is this like some kind of a torture thing? So I'm guessing this is where when we've seen the Kingpin's fists all damaged up before. I'm guessing.
Oh, he's beating on Adam. Okay,
that's what I'm guessing. That's what that's from, because because when they kept showing, I'm like, all right, he's beating on something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not thinking he's working out in the gym and getting that. So I'm guessing that's where that comes from.
I mean, I'm hoping this is like a turning point episode where Matt's going to put the suit back on, and we're finally going to see like the cracks in Fisk's his mayor facade here.
Well, you can't be a union buster in New York, so we'll see how this goes for him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's Daredevil. It's going to be like red tape that
that sends bureaucracy and red tape sends anybody over there.
Exactly.
So have we seen this Adam character before, or is it just it's like he kind of just showed up out of the blue, and I was like, I don't remember.
Yeah, he was in episode 1 at the beginning with the families.
He was.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to go back. So I always have to come back. Go back and rewatch after a couple episodes. Like, where was this? Because these little things slip by every once in a while. Like all of it. There's been a lot of graffiti. But I mean, they haven't showed in this show that he's painting the graffiti, right? That's
not yet.
That's
right.
from the comics. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Adam's double dipping. He's sticking his nose in the Kingpin's business and sticking something else. I don't know. So
I want him to say, "Draw me like one of your French ladies."
Oh,
since you're such a great artist.
Oh. So yeah, like I said, I think Matt said that Daredevil's coming back is just all the deaths, and then just the his client this time, where it's just like, oh, they're willing to spend how much more to lock me up than actually feed me and stuff.
Welcome to the school to prison pipeline of America. Like, where have you been, Matt?
Well, it is weird though, because we just do that in a lot of areas here. We'll spend more money to do something to do one than it would be just to solve the problem. We'll spend more money to avoid solving the problem. I think it's like, because when I'm at school every day, the kids will stamp their feet and whine about doing something that if you just had done it, you'd be over. You'd be done with what we asked you to do. Now you've just spent more time complaining and you still have to do it. Like, where is this mentality? I learned very quickly when I was a kid. My dad told me to do something. It was better to just do it, because I was going to have to do it anyway. It was just going to get worse. It's something we just don't seem to learn. So that was interesting to have. The guy who obviously shoplifted the fiddle faddle. Point that out. I'm wondering, where is that going to go, or is that just that's it? I don't know.
Crunch and Munch is better. He deserves jail.
Oh, jeez.
Kidding. Although fiddle faddle, really.
Oh, maybe that's all the store had.
What was the other one? The fiddle faddle. What's the other one?
Crunch and Munch is better. That's
I like the Crunch and Munch better. I haven't bought either. I don't see it in the store right now. But
it's terrible for your teeth, but it's okay for a sometime treat.
Well, if you brush your teeth, it's okay. I'm a sucker for all that the terrible stuff. It's like I'm the guy that's buying the horrible new flavor of Pringles just because I gotta know what it tastes like. Sitting there with the Oreos, and I regret it, but I eat it.
I was gonna say anything else. Yeah, well, like that prosecutor woman or whoever was saying, she's like, oh, it's supposed to be a deterrent, and Matt's like, well, obviously it's not working. He has a rap sheet. Like, how long? Obviously, it's not
It's
working.
a revolving door.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, and we were talking, because I do believe in deterrence, and when I was giving him the excuse, when I was a kid, these deterrents really helped me. And he pointed out, he goes, well, did you stop doing this bad thing just because of the deterrent, or did you stop doing it because it was wrong? And I wasn't quite sure what to do. And I said, what happened to you? Do you have deterrents? He goes, oh, I had deterrents. And he said, I just figured out how to how not to get caught better.
Exactly.
And again, this is not a guy that's a troublemaker that I'm talking about. This is, one of the nicest, most moral guys. But I thought, I hadn't considered that some people, they'll just, they'll either take the punishment, it's worth the punishment, I guess, or they look at it as, well, I'll figure a way around it because the punishment, it's not enough. It's not really a deterrent. And that is, when he said that, I thought about that. I thought that's an interesting thing, because I don't know that a lot of the deterrents really work. People are like, well, they'll do the bad thing and dare you to come get them, because we're not holding a lot of people accountable and stuff. And we can do that as a writer. I can write a story and make somebody accountable, but in real life, people do bad stuff, and it's like, okay, if you don't have enough money to afford a lawyer, you can't really get me.
Yeah, what's that saying? If there's a fine, that just means rich people can do it and poor people can't.
Yeah. I mean, you could see it. Rich people are like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing. It's wrong. Come sue me. I can. It's worth it to me to spend more money to defend my bad action, to make sure that you don't get me. And that's that's something that I'm wondering if that's going to be a theme in this series, because it seems like certain people are able to get away with stuff and other people can't. I mean, certainly the White Tiger didn't get away with, I mean, he wasn't wrong. And they were able to take him down, and will they get justice for him, period. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm hoping hoping we're seeing more of Frank. I'm hoping that wasn't it.
Yeah, no, I hopefully not.
I thought that they said it was going to be more than one episode, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see them bringing him in for one scene, especially like people have been clamoring for him. But
yeah, but we also thought we were going to see a little bit more of Foggy and Karen too. So
yeah. But I mean, who knows? And watch this season end on a cliffhanger too.
Well, duh. That's why they greenlit season 2, so people don't freak out.
Exactly. Let's see. What else do we get?
I was glad to see the girlfriend again. I like it's giving Sopranos. I like when the show gives Sopranos. I like the couples counseling between those two.
Oh yeah.
They're like, he's around.
Who, Adam? Oh, he's around.
Yeah. We had a dialogue.
Well, but does Vanessa know where he is?
I mean, no one should have to deal with that. But again, it's like, how stupid you got to be to sleep with the Kingpin's wife? I mean, he crushed a guy's head with a car door.
Well, how stupid you have to be. How many times you see, one guy, one guy beats the crap out of two guys, and all their friends keep joining in as just somehow. I'm going to get you. It's like, you'll see Daredevil. He's fighting 5 guys. It's like after the first 2 guys get the living crap beat out of them, what makes you think you have a shot? Does he look worn out?
It's like those guys who try to shoot Superman with a gun, and when the bullet bounces off him, they whip the gun at him.
Yeah, that's going to help.
This bigger piece of metal will get him.
maybe we keep shooting at him. It's like, how come the bullets don't? There was a Mad Magazine cartoon where they were showing the guy shooting at Superman, and then it turns out the bullets just bounce off Superman. The bullets wind up killing the bad guys.
Plausible deniability.
So I like the fact that Matt kind of brought up the Sisyphean task of being him. He goes to the girlfriend, hey, do you ever feel like you're pushing up a rock uphill and there's a bunch of people on the other side waiting to push it back down? I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what it's like being you. What are you going to do about it, Matt?
I'm just waiting for that revelation when, he finds out that she's treating Wilson and Vanessa.
Well, I mean, does she even? Well, I guess she knows who they are.
I mean,
who
yeah, she was signing an NDA at the beginning of their first session, so. Well, I mean, which is kind of redundant, but I guess just in case, because people do crazy things.
Yeah, well, she doesn't know that Matt is Daredevil, right?
Yeah, no, because the whole time they've been together, he hasn't been Daredevil.
So it's just she happens to be the person treating the Kingpin. She doesn't know that oh, by the way, my boyfriend is the big enemy of. It's like, I hope she doesn't get her head crushed in the door somehow.
Yeah, no, he's gonna probably go see her at the office or something, and those two are gonna come walking out or something. Well,
I don't think he's gonna see them.
Oh,
he's gonna hear him. He's gonna sense him.
Well, because the scene where like the niece of the White Tiger wants to see him, and Matt's saying, "Well, trust me, you don't want to see it." I'm like, well, how would you know what it looks like?
Well, his dad, I would assume.
I don't have to see a person and be like, oh, well, they got shot in the head. I don't think you want to see them.
I know, but it's one of those things that
that was this episode, where the guy, he was defending, oh, you can't see anything. I'm like, bro, this is your lawyer. Like, what are you doing?
Well, because I had written a little Daredevil story years ago, and it was called I think it was called On the Clock, and it was 24 panels, and every panel was a different hour. And in one of the panels, I had Daredevil standing on this building, kind of overlooking the city, and he was talking about the view. And years later, I'm thinking, I was reading it, I thought, why did nobody notice that? He doesn't have a view. He would have I could have written something else, but it was laziness, I guess. And I had posted that online as we make mistakes sometimes, and people were trying to defend my error. I'm like, no, it's an error, and it should have been caught. But so now every time they do something like that, my brain kicks in. I went, yeah, I remember when I made that error. People are like, you're too hard on yourself. I'm like, okay, yeah, the blind guy can see a view.
I just think we take that for granted. We don't even think about it, but then it's like, oh yeah, there's people who can see. And again,
you want the character to feel blind, even
Yeah, they've been making a real effort, having him use the regular cane and all that stuff too. And I mean, I wish we would focus on some other senses. I mean, I guess they kind of hit on his sense of smell in this episode, but they've really been focusing on the hearing. It's like he has so many other like a lot of cooler senses that we could be displaying here too.
They haven't done a lot with his sense of touch. I don't know how, some of it's hard to do, I guess, on film, where in a comic they can visually do it because you're staring at it for a while, and then you've got, of course, captions going, oh, I hear this, I feel the smell, feel the wind, and because he's listening to the heartbeats. I like when he has to kind of hear through stuff. I think that's neat because it is hard sometimes. You're because you can we've all done that where we're trying to listen to something and there's all this other noise, and we are filtering. And I think they've done a really nice job of using the sound to show that he's filtering through that. And I'm not sure why the prosecutor was from Latvia. I'm like, okay, are we connecting to Dr. Doom here?
All about Doom right now.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, no, I was trying to hear was it Harris's heartbeat when he says, he didn't know, he doesn't know anything about White Tiger's death. I was
He's
like, wait a
just
minute.
a liar.
What, they can take control of his heartbeat? Okay.
Remember the George method. It's not a lie if you believe it.
But I mean, at least I'm glad Matt gave Frank the benefit of the doubt that he didn't do the killing. I was waiting for him to go in there and be like, "Why'd you kill that? Why'd you kill White Tiger?"
He took one look at him and said, "This man's a mess. He's got more things on his mind than White Tiger."
Either that or he smelled something on that bullet. Who knows? I don't know.
Well, I think he knows Frank well enough that this was not his style, but he can't see. I'm trying to figure out, I guess he could, they didn't show it really well, but I would have liked to have seen his fingers touch. Maybe I'll have to go back and look at, I don't know if they could, seeing his fingers touch, because he was like, oh, it's got the Punisher symbol on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you know that? I'm guessing he could feel it, but I would have, I don't know, maybe there was a bit that I missed, but I would have liked to, did you feel that? Because he can't see the tattoos that are on the cops that have the Punisher thing, the fanboy Punisher things on them.
I mean, they used to make a big thing about him being able to read regular print with like his fingertips and stuff. We should have seen
or even worse, through the computer screen.
Or oh god, or maybe he felt those tattoos when he was fighting those guys at the end of 2.
He did?
I said maybe. I know. I'm just.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they haven't really shown. That's one of those things I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Because, it's funny, at our school there's some areas that have Braille on some of our doors. We don't have any blind students, but there's Braille there in a few places in case. And the kids were like, "What's this?" And I was explaining what Braille was, and they're like, "Well, how do they learn to read Braille?" And I said, "Well, the same way
you learn to read
anything." But they were fascinated by by touching it. And that's one of those things that I know when Dan was writing Daredevil, he was really good about writing about all of Daredevil's senses, which is one of the things that I really liked on his run. So whenever I wrote, I tried to do some of that, so that's why I was doubly angry with myself and Daredevil in the View. But he did things like talking about how his fingers could do that. Although I don't know how he feels stuff through gloves. I guess comic books. Maybe it's that.
I mean, I know Dan wrote at least one scene where he had to take off his gloves to feel something. So yeah, I mean, it's not all the time.
But it's one of those things. But it's like when I read stuff, I'll touch things with my fingers. Could I feel that? Because sometimes you do smell somebody's dinner on them and stuff. You're like, oh, you obviously had a Twinkie, or you had Pillsbury, because Pillsbury has that smell.
Yeah, I've always said that. I'm just like, those senses could probably be a curse sometimes, because he could probably hear every bodily function of everybody, everybody around them. Stomach
he works hard to tune that out.
Yeah,
you have to.
Well, it wasn't. I think that when he was a child in the Netflix series, they showed how difficult it was for him to. It was either that or maybe it was another superhero movie where they were having, or maybe it was Superman. I don't know, but I've seen, there has been a scene where it was too much. It was overwhelming.
Oh yeah, before Stick showed up, yeah, I think he's hearing everything within like how many blocks in every direction, and yeah.
But the same thing would be said for if your senses are that sensitive, the smells. Because it can, I mean, you just think certain smells are just too much for all of us here and there.
Yeah, we have a
fragrance-free
zone at work.
In our school, it's the boys in their horrifying use of the Axe spray. They spray everywhere. I walk down the hall, I'm like, you're killing me. And you still smell like BO, so it's not really working.
Oh yes, I just started a new job, and it's in the handbook. It's like, don't overdo the perfume or the cologne or anything.
Well, some people are allergic to it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like there have been years where I've taken many Axe away, and if you want it back, mommy's going to have to come to school and get it.
Oh, jeez.
Like, you sprayed it in the hallway. You know you're not allowed to. Now I'm confiscating it.
Oh, jeez.
They never let mommy come get it. They don't. It's like, why did you take
Well,
my
mom
stuff?
hates it too. She's like, good.
It's right here. They can come get it.
So,
but will She-Hulk show up? That's what we really.
Oh well, they said she wasn't. They're trying to kind of.
Well, they say lots of things. Who knows what That would
I
be.
would love it. I wouldn't mind it. Jennifer.
I like her show, but I don't know how you work. I don't know how you work her into Daredevil without it just not feeling right.
yeah, because again, it's very street level. There's really not like.
Although they did mention a scroll, so.
Yeah, I was surprised about that. Maybe it was a scroll. I'm thinking, how many people, catch that? Does it matter? I mean, I think most people watching the show probably watch a lot of Marvel stuff. But a lot of people didn't seem to like Secret Empire or what was it? Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
But again, liked it,
What a waste of butter.
I mean, it was fine, but it's like in the comics, that was a story that like pretty much included the whole Marvel universe. And again, then you just do a show that's like just Sam Jackson, which Sam Jackson's great, but it's like this should have been like the next Thanos level.
Why is nobody else showing up in this?
Yeah, because he even gets asked in that. Oh, why aren't you calling in any of the Avengers? I'm just going budget.
Yeah.
But yeah, that should have been a movie with everybody.
Well, I don't think there was enough story there for that.
No. Did they try?
So you think BB's gonna die too?
Oh.
That story didn't look too good for her.
Yeah, I mean, it depends if they show her digging and stuff, and then, or we're going to see Hector's niece become the new White Tiger.
Oh, absolutely. Well, she's kind of young, but
magic amulet.
That's true. Well, it's the thing.
Give it a little Shazam.
So the magic amulet doesn't protect you from a gunshot. I guess it just gives him
super speed, super strength.
Not
invincibility and vulnerability.
You think he would have been able to like spot somebody, just popping out of nowhere to shoot him?
He was rusty. Jail makes you rusty.
I guess.
Yeah, and I don't know if they like kind of like had to cut that whole storyline short because the actor did pass away. Yeah, so.
Well, he was done. From what I understand, he was finished with everything. But I don't know when they started reworking part of this. I don't know what has been cut and what is brand new material. That would be, I would love to know how they put everything together. So I don't know what
Blu-ray extras, dear Disney.
Yeah, more. I love all that extras. That's why when I first started getting like DVDs. Actually, it started with the Laserdisc, and you get all this behind the scenes stuff and deleted scenes.
See, I'm not a weirdo, Phil. He knows about Laserdiscs.
I just love that stuff. But then sometimes you go, why didn't they put this in the movie? And then one of my guilty pleasures is that movie 1941. And when you watch the version where they put all the stuff back in, it's so intolerably long, and it just does not work because it's too much. Now, I love all the extra stuff, but the movie itself, it just drags, because it moves at a pretty good clip with the other cut.
Editors are editors for a reason.
Well, but it is funny because like when Cameron put the extra stuff back into Aliens for the director's cut, I thought that was great. And same thing with Terminator 2 when they put back. So there was a couple scenes that, interestingly, he cut that I did not cut for the adaptation. I wrote the adaptation for Terminator 2. There was stuff. I mean, the script was very long. And most of the stuff I cut for the comic, because we had to shorten it, was stuff he cut. But the one thing that I kept that he cut from the movie was the conversation about when they pulled the chip out and she wanted to smash the chip and put an end to him. And I thought, that's an important scene. I'm going to leave that in. And they cut it out of the movie. And then when they did the director's cut, they put it back in. And I was like, I did know something.
Vindication.
So, Yeah, but that's what I would love to see behind the scenes of all of this stuff. So it's like, oh, this is stuff we shot. This is why we didn't use it.
Yeah, Disney's not like that though, unfortunately. But we can dream.
Well, when they do DVDs, a lot of times, some of their behind the scenes stuff on that, they'll show, here's some animation that we did that was good, but here's why we took it out. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of that. And some of that stuff makes me want to go back and rewatch a movie that maybe I didn't like so much. Because I'll always watch all that behind the scenes stuff. I'll go back and rewatch it with a better attitude, I guess is. Sometimes the first time I watch something, I'm expecting something and I don't get it, and I'm just like, well, I don't like it. And then I go back and rewatch it with a better attitude. I'm like, oh, I guess I do like this. I just had to get over myself. I mean, that's kind of the thing when you watch, like Daredevil. When I've done a lot of work on Daredevil, there's the stuff I want to see because I would have written this differently. I would have done that, and when it doesn't go the way I would want it to go, I have to throw a little mini mental tantrum.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if the actor's death affected it anything, because again, the pace the show's been moving. I was surprised. Yeah, they got the whole White Tiger trial and the murder and everything done in one episode. So I was like, oh, was this because?
Well, it's like killing Foggy off in the first episode. Dan and I were talking about that. They didn't earn that scene, because people who just came out, you don't know Foggy, you see Matt being upset, but they didn't, we needed a little more of that other than just, oh, here we are hanging out at the bar having a date. Oh, Foggy might get a date, to care that this character, because that should really be a big deal moment, based on the fight scene that Matt has, with Bullseye at that point. But they didn't really earn that moment. And that's the sort of thing with the White Tiger. We didn't see enough with that White Tiger and with the community to earn the scene where he gets offed.
Mm-hmm.
We're expected to be, oh, well, of course, but we're not earning some of those moments. You have to, you do have to earn them.
Yeah.
It's like if you ever watch a Rocky movie, by the end, you just want him to just beat the living crap out of whoever he's fighting with, because he's really worked hard to make you really despise whoever he's fighting. So when he does the flip after, you really hate the Apollo Creed character, and then they flip it around, so he's now Rocky's friend. They had to earn that, and they did it. They did a really, Stallone was really good at earning the moments, and I feel like they're not earning their moments in this show. They're expecting, well, because the history, you've earned it, and no, it's like, Tom DeFalco always told us, every comic is somebody's first comic, and I think you got to operate like that, with the TV shows like this. I'll say, okay, it's okay that stuff is happening within this show, but you have to earn it within the show. You can't depend on, well, there was all these seasons of it at Netflix. People may not have seen those.
Well, I think it would be easier too if it was actually the people from the Netflix show that were actually the showrunners. These are all new people, all new everything. So it's like, ooh, I feel a little, yeah.
Well, that's why you really got to earn these moments, because you're relaunching it as if almost this other stuff didn't happen. So you have to earn the whole relationship with Foggy. He's just some guy that got, was in a bar who seems kind of dorky, and doesn't know how to get a date, and then he's gone. And apparently that was stuff that wasn't even in the original thing. That was brand new material. So, we're trying to earn it as their show. I mean, this is, the scene with Frank was the first time you start to understand why Foggy was important. Well, by this point, he's been dead for 4 episodes. So,
I mean, and even beyond Foggy's death, it's like, why did you bring Karen back? Just to sit there and cry and then hand him that horn.
Right. It's like, well, they'll be back next season. Well, how about, more here? And again, why does it matter if she's leaving?
Yeah.
We haven't earned the scene where, he's distraught that she's leaving. and then oops, he's got this much hotter girlfriend. After that, so I guess she wasn't so important.
Well, that's one of Matt's fatal flaws is being a horn dog. So, his penis helps him move on a little faster than most.
Hey, people grieve in their own ways. Come on.
Exactly. No. People who live in glass houses shall not throw stones.
And I think I saw that they were saying the actor who plays Foggy is going to return next season. So everyone's saying, oh, maybe it's flashbacks or something. But like you were saying,
no,
maybe...
but he faked death, like the story, like in the comics.
Oh yeah, some people are saying someone might have faked his death or something. But
I don't think that's going to happen.
But it's like if they're going to do the flashbacks, do them now.
Right.
Show people every episode why.
Well, you also don't want that arrow stigma of constant flashbacks.
Yeah, but like Greg was saying, it's like if you got new viewers, show them some of those moments. Why those two are best friends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that wasn't me. That was somebody.
Yeah.
Dan saw somebody else's posting, and we were chatting about it.
Secondhand Chichester.
Secondhand Chichester. Yeah, he's not. He may not be here, but I'll give his commentary on that. But it's a very good point. I mean, especially as comic book people, one of the things that artists will always tell us is like it's better that show it. That's why it's a visual medium. You should be showing everything and not just, the writer shouldn't be blathering on all this stuff. The problem is sometimes we would write a scene and the artist didn't draw that scene. They drew somebody standing there. So then we would have to write all this. And why didn't you show it? I don't know. Ask the artist who was told to draw that, why they didn't draw it. That wasn't usually a problem on Daredevil for either Dan or I. We were very lucky to have people that really wanted to tell a story. On that, which was really nice, but other books.
Yeah, that. But yeah, again, we could squeeze more stuff in there too, because again, I mean, tonight's episode was 55 minutes. We haven't gotten to 50.
And for what though? Like I did feel like it kind of.
Well, unless you wanted to do flashbacks or you wanted to do more with any of it.
I needed more Fisk, honestly. Like, I don't even until Matt gets in the suit. I'm not worried about it.
They should really have just titled this, Fisk Born Again, because they seem to be focusing more on him. He's more interesting to follow.
Vote for Fisk.
I'm waiting for his wife to do something horrifying.
I think she's still secretly working with the families behind his back, and that's going to bother him even more than the affair. So.
Oh, probably. Maybe she's going to get her head bashed in the car door.
Well, they did kind of like do that whole thing about feeling safe. So I don't know if that's a red herring or foreshadowing. We'll see.
Or they go like a different route, like maybe like at the end of this season, like maybe she gets arrested for stuff, and then like her defense next season is going to be, oh, I'm an abused, battered wife and stuff, and try to blame the whole thing on him, or he threatened me if I didn't act as his front with the families and stuff,
Maybe she'll betray him completely.
Oh yeah, I'm like one of the cliffhangers at the end is like this season is like maybe she like shoots him or something, or
it's not like he hasn't been shot before.
Exactly.
It's like your protege shot you in the eye and you didn't die. Where will she shoot you?
There's this other teenage girl shooting you full of arrows. Yeah.
Well, that's no, we've got it all figured out. The young girl is going to avenge the White Tiger and kill the Kingpin.
Yeah,
the Queen Pin of.
It seems to be the only people who can deal him any like lasting damage is like teenage girls. Yeah, so that might be it.
They're brutal. That's why.
There we go. Could be.
All right. Anything else? Like I said, I was hoping for more Daredevil, but
yeah, that's it. Like you didn't title it Matt Murdock, attorney at law. So I'm just like, I'm enjoying the Matt stuff. I feel like, we don't get a lot of Matt time in the comics a lot of times in modern Daredevil, but like, I need I came for the action. I came for the suit. Well, I mostly came for Vincent D'Onofrio, but also Daredevil in the suit. So stop teasing me.
Everybody's doing a great job. I mean, all the actors are they're top notch in the show.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
which is great. I just, I want to see Daredevil, or I would like to see more Matt, and not just in a court.
Exactly.
It was much better when he was like looking for the shell casing, from the White Tiger, or when he went to see Frank. That's the stuff I really want to, see. Or I want to see, like I liked seeing, the scene on the roof where he's, playing with, whipping around his thing, and I was thinking about, one of the, I think it was the Elektra Lives Again graphic novel that Miller did, where he gets up in the middle of the night and then he just starts running around on building tops and running across power lines, and there was the bits of snow that were flying off of the lines, and I just thought, that's the kind of thing I expect him to do every once in a while. So it was nice to see here. I don't know why he got up and did that, but it was nice to see
Sometimes sex
that.
just isn't enough. You got to burn off some extra energy.
I don't know. I thought he maybe probably burned off enough energy with his lady friend.
Yeah, that would have been an interesting scene. It's just him like jumping from rooftop to rooftop without the suit on, even just
Yeah, that's what I thought
Right.
they were
Well,
going
that
for.
was, because the Miller scene that he did, he was just running around in his underwear, but it was an effective scene, because you're like, oh, this is what this guy's all about. I don't feel like we're not getting enough of this is what I can do kind of stuff. I mean, sniffing out, honey cake is not terribly exciting. And it's actually kind of gross. I mean, it's like talk about, it's like, most women I think would not appreciate somebody smelling food on their breath and telling them in court.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he's got a nice butt. You saw her checking him out, so she was into it.
He was paying attention, right?
Really? I didn't notice she was checking him out. I guess I'll have to look.
She's definitely flirting with him and checking him out when he walked away.
But yeah, no, that's what I thought that whole ending was. It's just like, Matt and Fisk's true natures are all bubbling, starting to bubble up again to the surface.
Good. Let it out.
I know.
Unleash the beast.
Let it out.
Let the devil out.
All right. We better get at least one more episode with Barenthal, or I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have forgot how good he was in that role. Yeah. There's your title. The one where the Punisher made the Daredevil cry.
A new Punisher spinoff. Yeah, I'm down for it.
Well, they said they are doing a Punisher spinoff. So.
Yeah, I thought, is it like did they say it was a one-off or something?
Yeah, they said it was like a one-off movie or something.
Yeah.
But he really is perfect as Frank Castle.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's the wrong size based on the comic, but it really doesn't matter. You really buy him as the Punisher, because everybody else played the Punisher just sort of is laughable.
Yeah. All right, everyone. So we'll be back next week.
Double header, right?
Oh yes, I think it's episode 5 and 6. Greg, I was telling Lilith, maybe we'll do the first one on Tuesday and maybe the second one Wednesday night, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that'd be much better, because that was a little rough.
Yeah, that was late too. Like I said, I started.
It was late. I'm like, what happened in which episode?
So yeah, kids, and next week you can watch live Tuesday and Wednesday night. So yeah, we'll do the first one after the first episode hits. So we won't confuse ourselves.
Sounds like a plan, Gene.
Yep. All right, Greg. Again, thank you for joining us. What do you want to promote?
Well, I can't tell you what I'm working on.
Bunch of stuff we can't talk about.
Secret again. Still back. Escape from Monster Island. Graham Nolan. It's on Indiegogo. It's not on Kickstarter. So I just handed in another 5 pages to Graham. So there's some fun stuff coming in there. And he's doing something else. He announced he's doing. Well, I think he's on the 3rd Joe Frankenstein. I think. I don't know. It's hard to keep up. He's gotten very busy because he's now hiring other artists to draw stories that he's written.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, he's gone from just doing like my one independent comic to Compass Comics is it's a real little company, and he's proven that one guy can do it all. It's a lot. I mean, I don't know how he does. It's a lot of work, promoting all this stuff and doing it. It's more work than it is to do the comic.
Oh yeah.
But he's really proving that, he's doing things his way, and he's making a good living, and he's very happy.
Good for him.
Let him set the mold for everybody else. Then I
He
think it's
kinda
really important
is,
to have independent comics right now.
And one of the good things about, if you fund his stuff, he delivers what he says he's going to on time.
Nice.
Unlike some of the crowdfunding things, you spend your money, and then I thought I was going to have this in August, and suddenly it's the next January, and we've got a couple more updates. He does not play that way. It's like when he says this is when it's coming, he gets it out there. So he's a good role model for how to do it right and keep your fans happy.
Oh, nice. Good. All right. And again, like I said, next week, 2 episodes, Tuesday and Wednesday. But yeah, send us your feedback. We want to hear your feedback too. CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Find pretty much all of our episodes at CapesLunatics.wordpress.com. And you can help support us by buying merch at TeePublic or Spring, or subscribe to our Patreon, where you get exclusive uncensored content at patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. All right. And finally, Lilith, you want to tell them about your con appearance?
Oh yeah, I'll be at AwesomeCon on April 4th in room 206. Doing a panel with author Nick DeWolf for Slaying Stereotypes. Come join us.
Nice. Well, it's going to be famous. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Again, 2 episodes next week. Hopefully you get a double suit.
Something.
Maybe we'll see how Mr. Fisk's knuckles are all bruised up. Maybe more for Mr. Castle. Who knows? But yeah, they're really steering into this Sopranos skit here between the therapy, and then Gandolfini's son is in this.
And let's not forget the garbage.
The garbage. Yeah.
That's true.
Waste
I didn't think about
management.
that.
Oh.
If only it was
The whole
set in
Gandolfini
Jersey.
son, that I don't even remember this character's name. He's just starting to irritate me.
Oh yeah. I think he's supposed to be irritating.
Oh, I just made a mistake, but I'm really sorry. Don't
I love you.
I forgive you, but if you ever do it again, oh really? Okay.
As a millennial, I can finally say it. Damn Gen Z.
All right, kids. Come back next time. Remember, it's better to be with the devil you know than the devil you know.